श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः Srimad Bhagavad Gita is describing in the beginning what is the fundamental universal problem. The problem is that of human conflict. How the conflict arises in the mind and causes shoka, and shoka completely overwhelms the buddhi, the mind, and one sinks in grief. So we all know how Arjuna is in shoka, no? Shoka because he is unable to face the inevitable situation of his swadharma, which is to fight the Kurukshetra war. So he tells Krishna, na kangshe vijayam Krishna na rajyam na sukhani cha kim no rajyena govinda kim bhoge jivitena va. He says, Krishna, I don't care for kingdom or wealth or power or name, fame, happiness, convenience, even life. What good is all of this when we are paying such a heavy price and when we will not be happy with such blood-stained victory? So this stage is called Purushartha Vichara, and it comes to all of us. It has to come sooner or later, which means one is doing Vichara. Do I really want Artha and Kama? What do I really want? What am I doing? And so what does Arjuna do? He surrenders to Krishna and says, Yat Shreyas Syat Nishchitam Tat Me Bruhi Shishyasteham Shadhimam Tvam Prapannam. Second chapter, beginning, Arjuna says, I want only Shreyas now. And you all know Shreyas is Paramapurushartha, Moksha. And I am your Shishya, Sri Krishna, and tell me that. Now, the war has to be faced. Now, Arjuna is having all these thoughts at the crucial moment when he has to fight the war. Yeah? Why did he not think about all this in the exile period? 12 years were there, no? There was a lot of leisure, and then Krishna was visiting them, and they had satsangas, no? But that exile period, they were planning all these strategies, they accumulated weapons, how to win and avenge themselves, yeah? So this clearly shows that this is caused because of that instability in the mind. He is unable to accept the choiceless situation of the Dharma Yuddha and unable to face it. And Krishna, begins the Upadesha to Arjuna and says, Arjuna, you're grieving for nothing. There is a valid cause for grief. Panditaha na anushojanti in second chapter, and begins to unfold the Sankhya Yoga. So Krishna says, the wise do not grieve for anything because they have Atma Jnanam and the knowledge of the Purna Atma. Then at the end of chapter 2, we saw beautifully Krishna described the Sthita Prajnaha, the person of steady wisdom, the one who has gained this knowledge, how he enjoys peace and freedom, mastery over the senses, and living a very happy life. And in between the beginning and the end of chapter 2, Krishna introduces Karma Yoga. Samatvam Yoga Uchyate Yoga Karmasa Kaushalam, that may there be competence and detachment in action, and with respect to the outcome, may there be gracious acceptance. Chapter 2 over. Now, does Arjuna pick up the Gandiva and say, I'm ready to fight? No. In fact, Arjuna is even more confused now. So now what has happened is, chapter 3, which has 43 verses, begins with Arjuna expressing his confusion. So the first two verses, Arjuna Uvacha, Jayasi Chet Karmanaste Mata Buddhir Janardana, Tat Kim Karmani Gore Mam Niyoje Sikeshava, Vyami Shreneva Vakyena, Buddhim Mohayasiva me, Tad Ekam Vada Nischitya, Yena Shreyo Hamapnuyam. So Arjuna says here, Krishna, you are praising knowledge. Knowledge alone liberates. Karma will bind. Then, in your opinion, buddhi or knowledge is superior to action. Then why are you always telling Uttishta, Yuddhaya, Yujasva? Why are you impelling me into this ghora karma? Is it not karma? So what is going on in Arjuna's mind? Sannyasa. So Arjuna is thinking, when Krishna is praising Sankhya, knowledge, why can't I just retire to Rishikesh, which is not far from Kurukshetra? I can just sit under a tree and contemplate, approach a guru and gain this knowledge, and then I will have the peace and freedom. Why should I engage in this terrible war? And so that is Arjuna's doubt here. So in the second verse, Arjuna says, Mohayasi iva me. So he says, Krishna, you appear to be confusing me. You are praising knowledge, but ask me to do karma. Is it not contradictory? So is Krishna confusing Arjuna or is Arjuna confused? Arjuna is confused. No? Krishna is going to consistently tell Arjuna what? Uttishta, Yuddhaya, Yuchasva. Come on, it is your duty. You have to fight. It is a choiceless situation. You cannot back out. No? Now, but what is the question in Arjuna's mind? He thinks that there is an option. He thinks that one can do Jnana Yoga or Karma Yoga. But in reality, this is not a valid question at all. If somebody were to ask, can I do postdoctorate in physics or high school? Should I complete? There are stages. Huh? You cannot enter a doctorate program without having completed high school, then grad studies, and then post-graduation. So Krishna knows very well that Arjuna is in the stage of Karma Yoga. And he has to go through this Karma Yoga phase of life and then become eligible for Jnana Yoga. So even if Arjuna took to Jnana Yoga, would it settle in his mind? The mind that is not ready is like a barren ground. If we place seeds on it, they are not going to sprout. So Krishna is showing him that Karma Yoga is going to pave the way to Jnana Yoga. So now, in response to this question, which Arjuna is going to keep on asking the same question for the whole Gita. Those who have studied earlier know Arjuna is always confused. Shall I do karma or shall I take to sannyasa? And Krishna's answer is always very, very consistent. Now we are going to see Sri Bhagavan's answer. And this is a very famous verse, number 3. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Lokesmin Vividha Nishtha Pura Prokta Mayanagha Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. Now here Krishna is talking about the Nishtha Dvayam. Nishtha Dvayam means he tells Pura Prokta Maya. That is in the beginning of Srishti. So when the Srishti began, Arjuna, I have already laid out 2 lifestyles, 2 ways of living life. Loke asmin vividha nishtha pura prokta mayanagha. One is Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga is the path of knowledge, the path of renunciation, discipline, and exclusive commitment to Vidya, Paravidya. Then the other path is pravritti margaha. That is the path of karma yoga. So Krishna is saying there is a choice in how we can live our life. Do I want to live an active pravritti marga life with family, with a job, with priorities, and engaged in action? So this path that Krishna says the majority are going to take is a safe path. It is meant for the majority and it is comfortable, it is pleasant also, but it has duties, responsibilities, role playing. So all this is the pravritti margaha or karma yoga. Whereas the Sankhya's means the jnana yogis, those renunciates and sadhus and brahmacharis, they who are committed to jnana yoga, they do not want to enter grahastha ashrama. They are exclusively committed to knowledge. What kind of path is that? Difficult. Krishna is going to say it's a risky path. It is fraught with difficulties because it's like a razor's edge. One has to be very alert. There is no company and it is all about renunciation. So, jnana yogena sankhyana, karma yogena yoginam. So, clearly Krishna is telling that these are the only two lifestyles. But the interesting thing is the common goal for all the mumukshus, all the people, whether they are in the grahastha-ashrama pravritti marga or they are a renunciate on the jnana yoga marga, the goal is same, which is knowledge. So, jnanameva mokshaha. So, knowledge alone leads to mokshaha. But can you approach the knowledge in a direct way or are you going to choose the indirect way? So that is the choice between the lifestyles, but there is no choice in jnanam, right? So for Arjuna, which lifestyle is more befitting? Karma yoga. Yeah, Arjuna is a kshatriya. He is a grihastha already. And, by the varnashrama, it was already very clearly defined. Kshatriyas have to uphold the law and order situation, right? So there is no choice and Arjuna has to follow the pravritti marga as of now. So if one comes with a lot of dispassion and viveka like an Uddhava, then clearly the jnana marga is open for such a person. But through the karma yoga, one gains the eligibility for the jnana yoga. But both are really pursuing the same end in view. So this is what verse number 3 clarifies here, that Krishna is not confusing, but very clearly saying that Shreyas which Arjuna is asking, that is the goal, that is moksha, and that is the end for everybody. But are you going to comfortably go towards the goal with company, fulfilling duties and responsibilities in the spirit of karma yoga, or alone without company, but very, very alert and following the nivritti marga? That is the verse number 3. Then after that, Krishna is saying, na karmanam anarambhat naishkarmyam purushaha ashnute. He says, Arjuna, just if you take sannyasa, sannyasa means one has to give up, drop house, property, possessions, family, job, and then retire to a place where this knowledge is available, which will be an ashram or a cave. You have to approach a guru. Okay, supposing you take sannyasa, will the mind be peaceful and be able to dwell and do Atma Chintanam? Anyone's guess, yeah? So one is not sure just by taking sannyasa. Krishna says, Siddhi is not assured, yeah? And the next shloka, number 5, he says, Nakaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtati akarmakrit. So he says, Arjuna, why are you backing out from action? There is no problem with karmas, right? But because nobody can stay still even for a moment. The body is meant to be active, right? And the mind is even more active, worrying all the time, anxious. Yeah. So here, fifth, he says that nobody can remain still even for a moment. Now, if I say, but Amma, I am just sitting quietly, simply sitting, relaxing, or lying down, that is also an action. Yeah. And then when I'm walking or doing something, that is an action. Then so many involuntary actions are happening. Breathing continues without your consent. Heart is beating, liver is detoxifying, kidneys are eliminating, mind is producing thoughts. All of them are actions. So, to act or not is not the question. The question is how to act. Yeah, in the spirit of Karma Yoga. See, when we get up in the morning, what is our first thought? Coffee. Coffee, said somebody. And for another person, it will be, what will I cook for breakfast? This is a major problem, daily problem. But some people go jogging, some people meditate, some people go back to sleep, some people will have coffee, some people will enter the kitchen. So karma is inevitable, unavoidable, right? But how we address karmas in our life, that is the question here. So Krishna says that even if you take sannyasa, but your innate prakriti, your nature will compel you to action. Yeah. Because, inside the mind has to be purified. And that activity is an outlet, is an expression by which one purifies the mind and eventually comes to jnanam. Okay. So then what Krishna says in the 7th and 8th shloka, niyatam kuru karmatvam karma jyayaha hi akarmanaha. So actions are superior to inactions. If you simply say, I'm not going to do anything, yeah, then what will happen? We'll become lazy, inactive, dull, tamasic, and we attract that pratyavaya papa. Whereas when we are positively engaged with the duty and responsibilities, doing whatever is to be done, then the mind becomes steady, yeah, very focused. Then there's a greater chance that one can meditate and do Atma Chintana. So in this whole chapter, Krishna is going to persuade and present the positive elements and arguments for karma. Okay. So niyatam kuru karmatvam karma jyayaha hi akarmana. Sharira yatra api te na prasiddhyeda akarmana. Now even for the body has to go through a sharira yatra, is it not? As long as prarabdha karma is there for however many years, then we have to keep the body in good condition. Yeah, we have to give it some food and exercise, in a positive health. All that is karma. So if a sannyasi, even sannyasis have to go for bhiksha. And if the bhiksha comes to them, and if even let's say the sannyasi is fed the bhiksha, he has to swallow it. That is also an action. So the point here is actions are not to be blamed. Actions are inevitable. One has to do what is to be done. Even to maintain the body, there are actions. So whether you're a sannyasi or a grahastha, actions are inevitable. The only difference is the grahastha will have more roles to play and sannyasi will have minimum roles to play. But few roles will be there. Sannyasi may have to take care of an ashram or do some teaching, share some knowledge and seek bhiksha. All those will be there. So that is all pointed out there. Then from the 9th shloka onwards, Krishna begins the topic of yajna. So here Krishna tells Arjuna, Arjuna, look at the world. This entire world is a mutually interdependent ecosystem. So you can see how every element in the universe, from the tiniest atom to the biggest galaxy, they're all held together by cosmic laws. So we are living in a mutually interdependent world where we are constantly giving and receiving, nourishing and being nourished, helping and being helped. Interdependence is there. We exchange oxygen, carbon dioxide with the nature. We're receiving so many gifts of Ishvara from the sun, animals, birds, rivers, plants, and people also. So this spirit of dedication and cooperation we find in the universe, yeah, which is a sense of cooperation, not competition, is called yajna. Very important topic here. So Krishna is saying, look at the big picture, Arjuna. Each one of us has a role to play and a slot to fill up in the scheme of things, in the cosmic plan. There is a mutual exchange. And that is called yajna. So in the 14th shloka, Krishna says, Annad bhavanti bhutani parjanyat anna sambhavaha yajnat bhavati parjanyaha yajna karma samudbhavaha. Look at the food cycle. The annam bhavanti because of rain, parjanya. Rains happen because of yajnas, and yajnas are born of karma. So Krishna is again praising karma. If we do not do karmas, what kind of karmas here? The offerings, Pancha Mahayajnas. If we do not do our pujas or help our fellow beings, if we do not take care, nourish the environment, then we will also not be helped in return. Yeah, then the nature will be imbalanced. So Krishna is pointing out that how the spirit of yajna, that is offering, is there in the entire Jagat. And the one who simply receives, yeah, and who does not offer back, Deva yajna, Pitra yajna, Bhuta yajna, Manusha yajna, Brahma yajna. If one does not return, then Krishna used that strong word, Stenaha eva saha. Stenaha means such a one is a thief. And Pujya Swamiji says, such a one is only a consumer, is a survivor. But we all have to be contributors, no? Giving much more back to the universe than one receives. So why is Krishna talking about all this yajna to Arjuna? Arjuna, you have to fight as though it's a yajna. In the spirit of yajna, you have to do Ishvararpanam of this Ghora karma. And then, it will not bind you. Then look at our own body. The body is a microcosm in itself. It is a universe in itself. So we see all the organs, the muscles, and the joints of the body. What are they all doing? Yajna. They're all mutually helping each other in a spirit of cooperation for the collective harmony and health of the person. Yeah. So Krishna is giving the big picture and says, in the cosmic machinery, we all have roles to play. We have to do what is to be done. The Varnashrama especially. Yeah. So then if you back out, if anybody fails to live up to his duty, what will happen? Confusion, Sankaraha. Then that family unit, social unit, country unit will all collapse and they will be disharmony. So, Swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manavaha. Krishna is going to say that in the 18th chapter. May one worship Ishvara who is constantly giving, the whole universe. May one worship that Ishvara with the flowers of our swadharmas. And such a person will attain siddhi. So, the karma yoga is being praised as, it is a yajna. Yajna is, we all know yajnas, no? Yajnas is where the priest offers into the fire and the fire carries the sankalpa and the offerings to the devatas, and in return, we get the sankalpa purti, we get blessings. So this is the give and take, mutual exchange. So Krishna is saying, if we are devoted to our duties, then we get the blessings of Ishvara as the outcome. So why are you hesitating? Another angle has been introduced now, the yajna angle. And so again, Krishna, reminds that evam pravartitam chakram na anuvartayati iha yaha. So this is called the Kala Chakra or the Samsara Chakra. And this is, grounded in this yajna principle. And so, tasmat asakta satatam karyam karma samachara asaktaha hi acharan karma param apnoti purushaha. So, therefore, Arjuna, asaktaha, you be unattached to your, to your duty and perform your what is to be done, and you will gain the param. I'm reading shloka number 19. Param apnoti purushaha. So up to 19 is the principle of yajna explained to Arjuna. Then from 20th onwards, Krishna is describing to inspire Arjuna the jnanis who are following the spirit of yajna. And there we saw the mention of Janaka. कर्मणैव हि संसिद्धिम् आस्थिता जनकादयः लोकसङ्ग्रहमेवापि सम्पश्यन् कर्तुमर्हसि. So there Krishna says, you see all these great yogis and kings like Janaka. They were great administrators. They were in the Pravritti Marga, intensely engaged in action. But for them, every action was a yajna. They were totally unattached in their hearts, and they had the prasada buddhi. And for them, it was all loka sangraham. Loka sangraham eva api sampashyan kartum arhasi. So, Arjuna, you also like King Janaka. There are many others like Ajata Shatru, Sri Rama. We see in their lives, they're all role models. Role models, and who show us that spirit of yajna. Then Krishna says in 21, Yadyadacharati Shreshtaha Tattadevetero Janaha Sayat Pramanam Kurute Lokaha Tat Anuvartate. So when great role models like Janaka and Sri Rama, when we see them, we are all going to imitate them. Yeah? Because they set a pramanam. Pramanam means they set a standard. Like today, who are the role models? Unfortunately, film actors for the young people, or they can be sports athletes. But if these influencers and motivational people and role models, if they advocate a wrong brand, fashions, or some drugs, then the millions of followers are going to follow that, imitate them, and they will fall into bad ways. But not so these examples. Then Krishna gives his own example in 22nd. Name parthasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchanam. Look at me, Arjuna. I am so busy acting in the three worlds. And in the three worlds, I am engaged in Srishti, Sthiti, Laya, cosmic functions. But there is nothing for me to gain. I have no personal agenda and I am unattached. Yeah. So, and varte evacha karmani. I am still engaged as your charioteer. Yeah, I am Dwarakadhish. There's a city, Dwaraka, which I have to govern. And all these actions are happening. But really, in my heart, I remain actionless because there is no attachment. Then Krishna says in 23rd, Yadi hi aham na varte, I am jatu karmani atandritaha. And if I were not to act, what will happen to the worlds? They will be sankaraha. Sankaraha means confusion and collapse. Yeah. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, you are a role model, or you have to be a role model for all the Kshatriyas. You are the commander-in-chief. So everybody is looking up at you. So if you shoot the first arrow, then only they will be empowered to fight the battle till the end. So if you yourself crumble, then what will all the followers do? You have to set the proper example and show the way in a responsible manner. Okay? Otherwise, there will be confusion. So that is the, about the jnanis that Krishna explains here. And then in 26th verse, na buddhi bhedam janayet ajnanam karma sanginam joshayet sarva karmani vidvan yukta samacharan. So these role models who are karma yogis, they should not unsettle the minds of the others. There will be many in the world who are attached to action, right? They want the phalam, very attached to the phalam. Artha, kama is very important for them. But Krishna gives a warning here. Na buddhi vedam janayet. Do not unsettle the minds of others. No? So you be a role model and set an example, good example, and eventually even they will learn to give up their attachments and have prasada buddhi and yet be competent in action. Very good advice. You cannot tell somebody who is working hard, for promotions and company profit. You can't say, come listen to the Gita, be a little unattached, come for satsanga. No, that will not work. But over time, slowly the mind will change and a shift happens, and then one discovers the joy of Karma Yoga. That is the warning there. Then we come to the 30th verse, and the 30th verse is very, very important because it gives us the crux of Karma Yoga. And also earlier, when Krishna was talking about the yajna aspect, how to do the Swadharma as a yajna, Krishna says the one who does not follow the spirit of Karma Yoga, offering the actions as a yajna, mogham saha partha jivati. Oh Partha, their life is a waste. Mogham. Now we come to this 30th verse, which is very important. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasyaadhyatma chetasa nirashir nirmamo bhutva yudhyasva vigatajvaraha. This is often called the 5-point program. Yeah, 5-point program, and essence of Karma Yoga is this verse number 30. Very important. So what are the 5 points mentioned here? First is Mai Sarvani Karmani Sanyasya. Sannyasa means renunciation, giving up, tyaga. So Mai Sarvani Karmani means you give up all the actions, offer it unto me as a yajna, as a prayer. Mai Sarvani Karmani Sanyasya. Being a Adhyatma Chetasa, with a chetas, with a mind that is devoted to me. Adhyatma Chetasa, Tritiya. So with a mind that is devoted to Atma Tattvam or Ishvaraha. And third point is Nirashihi. Nirashihi means without expectation, Asha. That means what? Normally we will all project into the future, no? If I get that, how happy I'll be. If I get that, I'll be secure. If I go there. So this Nirashihi means the one who will remain in the present always. I am focused on what is to be done here and now by me. That itself is a reward, and I will not be in the future thinking what I will get. So Nirashihi is without expectations. Then Nirmamaha. Nirmamaha is the 4th point, which means without mamatvam. Without mamatvam is the attitude that nothing belongs to me. Yeah. So we are all part of a huge cosmic machinery, and the body and the mind and the janma has to be exhausted through a series of actions. So let me do what is to be done and offering it as a yajna. So Nirmamaha is the jnani will think not even the body belongs to me. Everything belongs to Ishvara. So it is for the sake of Ishvara that I am acting. So Ishvara Prityartham we say, no, the Sankalpa, for pleasing Ishvara, I do this puja. So when we do Deva Yajna, these Pancha Mahayajnas are very important. So the first is Deva Yajna. Deva Yajna means our daily pujas as Nitya Karmas. But even in the puja, I should not demand and expect, if I do this puja, let me have this, let me have that. So we can ask for Viveka, Vairagyam, Shanti, and Arogyam, and opportunities for Shravanam, Mananam, but not for Abhyudaya, Phalam. worldly prosperity, Deva Yajna. Then Pitra Yajna. Pitra Yajna is the actions we do for our departed ancestors and also for elders and parents still alive. So usually it refers to Shraddha, Tarpanam and all that, but it's basically taking care, Pitra Yajna. Then Brahma Yajna. Brahma Yajna is giving back to the universe in the form of upholding the Rishi culture, like we're doing right now. Being devoted in the study of Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavata Purana, or upholding Patashalas and supporting the institutions that teach Brahma Vidya is all Brahma Yajna. Then Manasya Yajna is we are receiving so much from our fellow beings, then we also have to return in and help them out. So that seva to uplift those who are less privileged than us would come under Manushya Yajna. Then finally, Bhuta Yajna. We are getting so many things from animals and birds also, no? So we also have to take care of the environment, nature, including animals, yeah, and the trees. Because of the nature, we survive. And so there is a mutual exchange program. So all that is included in Karma Yoga. So minimum is doing Swadharma. But the Vedas say that the Grihasthas or those who are in Pravriti Marga, they are mandated to do the Pancha Mahayajnas also. So then what will happen as a result of the spirit of Yajna and offering, the mind is going to be so steady and pure and actions keep continuing and it paves the way for the higher knowledge, the liberating knowledge, Paravidya. So Nirmamaha, nothing belongs to me, everything is Ishwarayized. Then finally, Krishna again says Yudhyasva to Arjuna. Arjuna, you have to fight the war, but you become a Vigata Jwaraha. Now Jwara means Jaram, fever. So Vigata Jwara means, do not fight with motive to take vengeance. I hate Duryodhana and Dushasana and Karna, so I'll finish them off. No. Do it as an offering, as a yajna, Ishwararpanam. So your mind will be steady. And that is the spirit I want you to fight the war. So look at the 5 points here. One is to offer all the karmas, a renunciation of karmas is Ishwararpanam. And then Adhyatma Chetas, with a steady Chetas devoted to Atma Tattvam or Ishvara. Nirashihi, devoid of expectations or attachment. Nirmamaha, without sense of ownership. And finally, with a peaceful mind, Vigata Jwaraha, Krishna says, Yudhyasva. That is verse number 30, very, very important. Then 31 and 32, Krishna is just saying that Ye idam nityam anutishtanti manavaha. Those who follow these right principles, principle of Karma Yoga, muchyante, they will be freed and they will attain the param. Whereas those who do not follow, they are the vimudhatmas and they will be trapped in the cycle of time and desire. Okay. Then let's come to 34th shloka, which is again a very important shloka. Indriyasyendriyasyarthe ragadveshau vyavasthitau tayornavashamagachet tau hyasya paripanthinau. So here Krishna is talking about the twin currents of raga and dvesha. They are like paripanthinau. Paripanthinau means highway robbers, So those who, stop the cars and then rob the passengers. So these raga dveshas are robbing the mind, keeping the mind hostage, strong attachments and aversions, raga and dvesha. But tayoho na vashamagachet. So may one with a discriminating mind analyze into these twin currents and with viveka master them. Again, a very important shloka there. And how will we do that? Karma Yoga. Yeah, as I keep on, in the Pravritti Marga, Karma Yoga itself will neutralize the strong currents in the mind and make the mind steady. It is like, the mind is dusty. So raga and dvesha are like thick dust and impurities on the mirror-like mind. How are we going to wipe it clean? You can take a cloth to clean the laptop screen or a mirror, but what about the mind? Only way is karma yoga. So dedicated, competent action as per dharma and without attachment to the results and graciously accepting the results with prasada buddhi. That is going to clean the mirror-like mind. And when the mind is like a polished mirror, what is going to happen? Clear reflection. Yeah, the reflection of the self, of the Atma. And that is why Krishna keeps saying that this Karma Yoga paves the way to the next stage, that is Jnana Yoga. Only then can we approach a Guru and the Guru will unfold the Shastra like the Gita, and then we'll be able to receive this knowledge. Then 35th shloka, Krishna sums up the whole Karma Yoga teaching in this chapter and says, Shreyan Swadharmo Vigunaha Paradharmat Swanushthitat Swadharme Nidhanam Shreyaha Paradharmo Bhayavaha. Arjuna, the route to moksha for everybody is Swadharma. And even if one perishes, dies doing one's swadharma, even if it is defective, vigunaha, still it is better than going for somebody else's karma. Like Arjuna, he is a kshatriya, he is a, grahastha, but he wants to switch to sannyasa. That is paradharma. So the paradharma is not going to suit his mind. So Arjuna's mind will be studied and clarified only by his own swadharma. So earlier we saw Krishna says, even if one dies doing one's duty on the battleground, there is a Veera Swarga, heaven awaiting them. So it's a win-win situation. So Swadharme Vigunaha Nidhanam is Shreyaha, is better, more auspicious than Paradharma. Sometimes people will compare the situations. Why am I in this situation? No, I don't want to do what I have to do. I would rather do something else. But if we switch the roles, or if we want some other situation, then we are as good as refusing the opportunity for purifying our own mind. And that is why that situation which is facing me, my role playing, my situation, is Ishvara in manifestation. So when I accept it wholeheartedly and I live up to the situation, do what is to be done, that is the route to moksha for that person. So here, finally Krishna rounds up and says that how important Swadharma is. And Swadharma done in the spirit of Yajna is nothing but Karma Yoga. And Karma Yoga paves the way to come to Jnana Yoga, and then Jnana Meva Mokshaha, and Moksha is that peace and freedom that everybody wants. So that is the whole route is shown here. Now we come to the concluding part of the chapter 3. Arjuna raises another question. Yeah? Arjuna Uvacha अथ केन प्रयुक्तोऽयं पापं चरति पूरुषः अनिच्छन्नपि वार्ष्णेय बलादिव नियोजितः. 36th shloka, where Arjuna this time asks a pretty good intelligent question and says, hey Varshneya, oh Krishna, even though we know what is good for us, what is not good for us, why do we do something that will attract papa? Anichannapi, even though we are hesitating, baladiva niyojitaha, there seems to be some powerful force, a devil sitting inside, forcing one to take the wrong step. Yeah, it must have happened with all of us, I think, with no exception. So there is some wrong. What has happened there? What is that force, Krishna? Can you explain? And then Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Kama Esha Krodha Esha Rajo Guna Samudbhavaha Mahashano Mahapapma Vidhyena Miha Vairinam. And Krishna says it is Kamaha. Kamaha is desire. But what kind of desire? Rajo Guna Samudbhavaha Kamaha. The Kamaha that is as good as anger. Yeah, Kama Esha Krodha Eshaha. Both. Because we saw in chapter 2, did we not, that what is anger? Anger is a symptom of unfulfilled desire. So when the desire is binding and pressurizing us to fulfill, and when it is not fulfilled, it becomes anger. So Krishna says such a Rajoguna Samudbhavaha Kama is binding. Yeah, be aware of these kamas in the mind because they are Maha Ashanaha. Maha Ashanaha means a voracious eater. You know, like the fire. If we offer some ghee into the fire, will it ever say no? It will just ask for more. That's why it's called Analaha. Alam na vidyate iti Analaha Agnihi. It will ask for more. So this kama, not all of the kama, the rajasic kamas, the desires that want to be fulfilled no matter what. Such kamas are mahashanaha, voracious, which means they will never be satisfied. The more we feed them, the more hungry they will get, like fire. So Krishna says that is the Nityavairi. Nityavairi means eternal enemy. Then why are they enemies? Then the next few verses we saw that how this kama, the powerful desire born of rajas, will cloud the mind, will cover our intelligence. So all the good habits and the samskaras we've received from our parents and schools and educational institutes and life itself, all that will be covered in an instant by such a desire. And then the examples was like a mirror covered by dust, like the baby fetus covered by the amniotic sac, and by fire covered by smoke. Dhumena vriyate vannihi and all. So avritam jnanam etena jnaninaha nityavairina. By this nityavairi, eternal enemy called binding desire, that jnanam is that pure knowledge, pure core existence that we truly are is covered, is completely, what do you say in English? Smothered. It's covered and veiled. And then we feel helpless. So then, now if the question is asked, where does this kama really happen? Where is this enemy? Because, when the armed forces want to protect a country, they will first they'll find out where are the hideouts. Yeah? Where is the enemy hiding? And then they will attack those places. So here, the Krishna is going to say that this kama, what is the locus? Indriyani manaha buddhihi asya adhishthanam uchyate. So the adhishthanam or the locus for kama is the sense organs, the mind and the buddhi. Now we know how this team works, right? The sense organs of knowledge bring in the data. Shabda sparsha rupa rasa gandha, present it to the mind. Now the mind will analyze the data, consult the buddhi. The buddhi will say, come on, don't have the junk food, it's not good for you. Don't smoke, don't tell a lie, don't drink alcohol. But buddhi tries to prevent disaster, tries to educate the mind, but will the mind listen? Not always, right? If it is a pure mind, with a steady mind of a karma yogi, it will listen, yeah? But more often than not, the mind will not listen to the buddhi, and the buddhi may also not be very informed and educated. That's why it is said that the buddhi which is exposed to the shastras, like we are exposing, Repeated study, Shravanam of Gita, Upanishads, Prakaranas will awaken the Jnana Chakshu. That is the way to make the buddhi pure. So the buddhi knows exactly what is Shreyas and what is Preyas, what is Dharma, Adharma, Nityam, Anityam. It can educate the mind. Then the mind will influence the sense organs. And then there will be, mastery. So that is the teamwork which is talked about at the end of this chapter. Tasmat tvamindriyan yadav niyamya bharatarshabha papanam prajahihenam jnana vijnana nashanam. So Arjuna, therefore, niyamya, you practice shamaha damaha, mastery over the senses, over the mind, and destroy this internal enemy called binding desire. Now we have seen the chariot imagery also, is it not? The organs of knowledge are the horses, the mind are the reins, and held in the hand of the charioteer, the buddhi. And the jiva is seated in the deha ratham, chariot-like body. So if we are to go along the Shreyo Margaha, and if we want Shreyas, then there has to be a very strong buddhi. The buddhi has to educate the mind, and the mind will restrain the senses, so that the horses will not be turbulent and take us wherever they want. So again, Krishna points out the importance of shamaha and damaha, mastery over the senses, so that one may reach that param jnanam or paramatma tattvam. Then finally, evam buddhe param buddhva samstabhya atmanam atmana jahi shatrum he mahabaho kamarupam dura sadam. Hey mahabaho, so now what is the obstacle in life, or we can say what is the obstacle in spiritual progress or karma yoga? Kama. So here last sentence, he says that jahi shatrum he mahabaho. You destroy the shatru in the form of kama, binding desire, and then you will reach the highest goal of life. So here, see, the context of the Bhagavad Gita is the war situation. Yeah. Now we can understand Arjuna, poor Arjuna is hesitating to fight the war. It is not the same like us going to office work or, parenting children. It is more ghora karma than that. So for some people, even getting up out of bed in the morning can be like a war. Very difficult to get up in the morning, and for some others going to work, they'll complain and all that. So this whole chapter 3 is devoted to, what needs to be done, karma, and let us be cheerfully, without lamentation, without feeling frustrated, surrender to whatever it is our, karma manifesting through choiceless situations in life. And then the Krishna says that, gives various angles. It is your swadharma, and swadharma is a route to moksha. Then is it not a way to express gratitude to Ishvara, who's giving all the time? So let us also offer this as a yajna. So giving adhyatmika drishti, dharmika drishti, laukika drishti, so many ways Krishna is persuading Arjuna to fight the war and offer it. So in conclusion, we see a few points here, that it started with Arjuna's question, right? 1 to 7. Should I follow Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga? Yeah. This will be Arjuna's constant question up to 18th chapter. Which is better, Jnana Yoga or Karma Yoga? But this is not a valid question, because stages, Karma Yoga, everybody has to do. Nobody is exempt from Karma Yoga. If you're not doing this Janma, you would have done in the previous Janma. And now you're ready for Jnana Yoga. So Krishna is saying there is no choice between Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. But for Jnana Yoga, we need the sadhana chatushtayam, purity of mind, maturity. And that detachment, steadiness of the mind can only be got through karma yoga. So that the introduction we saw there, and Krishna says the two lifestyles and the Pancha Mahayajnas, when we do, then it purifies the mind further. So then we see how Krishna praises Karma Yoga from 4 different angles. First is, it is a Agnya. It is a divine command. We are already born into that situation. We have to face it. So let us accept. Then Yajna. Yajna means this is my return gift to Ishvara. It is an expression of gratitude to Ishvara. Yajna. Then Karma Yoga is a yoga. It is going to purify the mind and lead me to Jnana Yoga. And Jnanameva Mokshaha. And then for the collective harmony, it is a Dharma Anushtanam. Everyone has to perform his or her own Dharma. So the right principles we all know. R stands for reduction of adharma. I is increase of dharma. D is dedicating all activities. E is experiencing Ishvara Anugraham. And so these jnanis are Shrestha Purushas, role models in society, and they set a model. So if we do not know what to do in life, let us look at jnanis. Let us look at Shreshthas, our elders, who are firmly grounded in this principle, and then follow them. That is the. Then 30th verse, we saw that important 5-point program as a Karma Yogi. And that is the essence of chapter 3. Yeah. How at the very end, Krishna says the 2 main obstacles, rather only one obstacle, binding kamaha. Demanding desire becomes anger. They are the main cause of obstacles in spiritual progress. And may one, through viveka and vairagyam, address this karma in our mind, mainly through Karma Yoga. And along with Karma Yoga, may one also do Shravanam of the Gita. See, the Bhagavad Gita does not expect all of us to be perfect Adhikari students who are going to understand Tattvamasi Mahavakyam rightly. No. The Bhagavad Gita, even as we study it, it prepares the mind. We are going to see in the later chapters how it is going to give us so many tips how to meditate and which ahara is the best, and how to master the desires and how to develop bhakti, and expand the bhakti and which values and attitudes develop so that I will have a steady mind. And then jnanam, of course, is the goal that is Shreyas and meant for everybody. Okay? Om Tat Sat. Om Namadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.